Hey guys, Zach Evanesh here, undergroundstrength.tv at the Underground Strength Gym. This is going to be a long-winded answer. Inspired, as I always say, I find inspiration through many things. And I'm on Tim Ferriss's website. And he's helping my friends, Kelly and Juliet Starrett. They are created a program called Stand Up Kids, standupkids.org. And Kelly, being a doctor of physical therapy, they started changing his two daughters' school by putting in standing desks. And here I'm sitting down, no clue what I'm thinking, but look, fighting for children's health, one desk at a time. So I made a donation, small donation, $100. If you guys go to standupkids.org and make a donation of $10 or more, you can email me that receipt, undergroundstrengthcoach@gmail.com, and I'll send you bodyweightbodybuilding.com, which I believe is a $47 program. So you donate 10 bucks, I'll hook you up with a $47 ebook. But please feel free to donate 20, 30, $100, whatever you want to do. The question that Tim Ferriss asked was, what does education mean to you? And this will be a long-winded answer. It will probably kill my opportunities of ever working in the public schools again. And I spent 11 years as a public school teacher, and here we are at the Underground Strength Gym. This location has been open for 8 years and 2 weeks. Before that, I spent 4 years running that gym, starting it out of my parents' garage, then my first home, backyards, playgrounds. Now, when I think about education, and the reason why I left education is conformity, following the rules, not inspiring. Stand Up Kids is about changing the world, and that's what I'm about. So when I think about education, what do I think about? I think about inspiring kids, empowering them, building their self-confidence, not putting them into robot mode. And what that means is, my son started kindergarten this year, and I dropped him off at school, and I stay there and watch them go in, and I'm seeing all the kids running around, but I see him and his classmates standing on line, and my stomach and heart dropped because I said, holy shit, they're becoming robots. It's all about following the rules. I see kids, young kids, my own kids, stressing out about schoolwork. Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned this on his podcast, that nobody gives a fuck what the hottest planet planet in the world is, when we could simply look that up on technology. All we're doing in these schools are testing kids, making them memorize, not inspiring them or empowering them. And the reason why I say that is because my years in school, public school, until I got to college, were based on fear. I was scared of everything except for my time in a gym, amongst the weights, hearing weights clanking. I used to do my homework at the gym. But I remember my guidance counselor telling me with my shitty SAT grades, hey, Zach, maybe college isn't for you. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Crespi, for inspiring me to be greater and to push for greatness. I was intimidated of everything, but I got A's and B's in almost every class because I was in what you call level 2 classes, which is middle of the road classes. And while I'm getting A's and B's, nobody was telling me, why don't you move up? Until junior year, I was getting A's in English class, and my teacher said, I'm going to bump you up to level 1 English for senior year. Most people don't do that. They get bumped up maybe freshman, sophomore year. I get bumped up. I have no clue how to study. I'm not used to reading anything besides bodybuilding magazines, and I failed. I remember getting an F. I had no clue how to study, and everything was based truly on memorization, not inspiration, not on what was truly important to me. And if you hang tight with me, I'm going to get to the stories of what I think education could be and the efforts I've done to change it and how I was actually punished for it. So, senior year in English, my teacher gets injured, injures her back, and a substitute teacher comes in, and that was truly the first teacher to believe in me and to inspire me and to tell me to, yes, go to college, and yes, you can be great, and yes, You can do whatever it is that you truly want to do. What are you passionate about? And I remember talking to her about owning a gym. Little did we know in 1993 that I would be writing a book and speaking in front of audiences and inspiring people around the world. And I wouldn't have done it unless Miss Mitchell would have said, yes, go to college. And until I got to college, I truly didn't believe in myself. And that took time to believe in myself. Well, fast forward 4.5 years, when I graduate college and become a health and phys ed teacher, I remember how inspiring I was, or how inspired I was as a teacher, until it all hit me. My 5th year, I transferred to the middle school, and I had my master's in health education, and I was teaching health. I remember teaching things that were not, quote unquote, in the curriculum. And my colleagues complained about me and complained about what I was teaching, and they went and told the department chair, who then came in and literally had a sit down with me and said, Zach, this is not in the curriculum. You can't teach these things. I said, yes, it's not in the curriculum, and I don't know how long ago that curriculum was updated, but that's what these kids are doing. This is what these kids are living. So we would do a question box once a week, and I would answer the questions in that question box. And they were asking things that, yes, didn't match what was in the curriculum, but I was meeting their needs. I was challenging them, and I was trying to inspire them to pursue excellence. Now, when I think about schools today, unfortunately, it's based on standing in line, staying in the box, and not daring to be anything great. For example, somebody sent me an email about a baseball coach who got fired. For the past 2 years, parents were anonymously complaining about him because he worked the kids too hard. That is also known as somebody who cares, who is pushing others to pursue excellence. And nowadays, when that is done in a public school setting, you will oftentimes get punished for that. But then I remember in the schools, when I worked for the school district, a few of the kids I was working with were the strongest, toughest, fastest players on the team, the football team. That football team went on to set a state record for the most consecutive losses. I think it was 34 or 36 losses in a row. I was constantly saying to the department chair and the administration, put me into that school. Put me as a phys ed teacher up there, but put me in the weight room. I'll work with the athletes. And there was always an excuse. I said, these kids are losing over and over again. They don't deserve to lose, but they always had an excuse as to why it couldn't be done. And to me, that is against what education is about. We're supposed to inspire students to achieve excellence, to push the boundaries, to be okay with getting uncomfortable, to achieve greatness, to look at obstacles as opportunity, to look at struggles and turn them into strength. But we avoid those things. Then I look at when Hurricane Sandy happened, I called the local school because we live in a beach town. And I did say, I called the local school and I emailed every teacher. And I remember calling and emailing the guidance department saying, I'd love to scholar any athlete who's been displaced from his or her home. I'll train them for free at my gym, which is also in town, about a mile from the school. So you could walk there, ride your bike there. You could get there any way you want. Nobody responded. I also emailed and called about the quote-unquote at-risk students, students who might be slightly depressed or whatever they want to, however they want to classify them. But I know what building a strong, young person does for their confidence in life. Still, no response. But then I see, again, sport teams at that school with a record of 2-23, and nobody stands up and complains about it. So to me, education is about empowering, inspiring, teaching people to utilize what they're great at and to turn it into something to change the world. Just like Kelly Starrett is changing the world with stand-up kids, he of course did it through his own motivation, knowledge, inspiration, but he followed his path. He followed what was in his heart. Most other kids don't have that opportunity like myself, and I've done this many times. spoken with the local police, and I said, hey, I would love to take the kids that you guys have to work with, and we bring them here to the underground strength gym, and let me teach them how to lift weights, how to get strong. We've all heard about how sports and art or music or any kind of art form has saved the lives of people, changed the lives of people. Yet in the public school setting, that change, any kind of forward thinking tends to be denied. Yet if you look at how the world changes or how it's impacted the most, it is through people who are what we call change makers. They inspire and influence people by thinking outside the box. I didn't learn how to run this gym or how to do any of my training through the things that were taught to me in high school, not through public school, a little bit through college, and the most through my own efforts. So I've even offered the public schools, the local schools, I'd love to do some sort of work-study program. When I was a kid, every book I had, there was a bodybuilding book stuck in the middle of it. I was so passionate about that stuff, I just wanted to learn how to own a gym, how to run a gym. I used to have my father take me to gyms all around New Jersey just so I could walk through the gym and talk to the person sitting at the front desk, asking them, how did you start this gym? How does one go about owning a gym? Yet if we're to try to teach these things in the public schools, you get shut down because it's all about passing this test, passing that standardized test. When I think about it, the math that I use to run my gym is basic arithmetic. Add, subtract, multiply, maybe divide a little bit, but it's all the basics. But nobody wants to believe in that, right? We want to push people into this direction. Stand on line. Don't color outside those lines. Stay in the box. To me, that will not change anybody. When I was going through grad school, I met two teachers. They were older. They were in their late 40s, early 50s. They had left the public schools and opened a charter school. And they told me about something they did called Wacky Wednesday, and it inspired the hell out of me. They said every Wednesday, the students get to travel throughout the whole school to work on a year-long project of whatever is of interest to them. So maybe one kid is super interested in movie and film, and he wants to research Steven Spielberg. So every Wednesday, he's in the library, he's on the computer, he's working on a project, almost like the old school. Who remembers the movie Bill and Ted's Adventure when those guys traveled the world? See, we don't do that. We're afraid in the public schools of the relentless pursuit of excellence because if you dare push outside the boundaries, people complain about it. And to me, that's what education is. It's about each kid utilizing their strength, teaching them to find what is in their heart, what they are put on this earth for, what is their unique ability, and teaching them to take that and turn it into something that they can now live with the rest of their life following that thing. But in the public schools, we don't do that. We teach that being different is bad and that there's this side of the room and that side of the room. When I was in school, I think basically being in those level 2 classes, I was just kind of off to the side. You had all the level 1 advanced classes. Those kids were very smart, had very good grades. Then you had kids like me. I did all my homework, I kept my mouth shut, and I got A's and B's in those middle level classes. But that gave those teachers some sanity because the majority of the kids in those classes didn't do their homework, weren't interested in school. I was afraid to get bad grades. But nobody inspired me except for one teacher who told me, yes, you can do something great. And I started writing in her class, and I remember learning that I love to write. Nobody told me that, yes, that's a great thing that you can do. So schools should inspire and they should educate people. And if they're not going to do it, then I decide I will take that stuff into my own hands. And the Underground Strength Gym is essentially a school of strength. It's not about how much weight you could deadlift, bench press, squat. To me, that's not really that important. It's also not super important that how many points are on the board. Yes, I want to see them winning. But the training they go through here is so challenging and tough that it carries over to their life. And now they pursue excellence in all areas of their life. And now they're inspired to do something of their own. And nobody here tells them that they can't do that. Instead, we tell them you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're willing to work for it and earn it. And that's what education is, inspiring people to live their own greatness. And everybody has that greatness within them, but there's just nobody out there, or certainly not enough people out there, believing in those kids who need somebody to believe in them. There's people like me reaching out to schools all the time, offering my help for free, and it's being turned down because we want to turn a blind eye, because it takes a little more work to be different, to stand apart from the crowd. And to me, I believe that the kids are number one. That's what I always say. And I question, how does a coach allow their team to keep losing? Because you're not inspiring the kids with a losing team. You're not inspiring the kids to work harder, to work smarter, to achieve something great. Education, to inspire and to teach kids their unique ability so they could go out and change the world. Anybody who's changing the world today, no matter how small or how big, somebody inspired them to do something greater than to simply color inside the lines. Thanks, Tim, for putting this out there. I don't really care about the prize of flying anybody around the world. I would rather that ticket, if I did win this prize, to go to some kid in the inner cities who's never been any place out of that city and fly him and his family somewhere nice. Those of you guys listening, go to Tim's website where he posted this. You'll have a link where you can donate to standupkids.org. If you donate $10, forward me that receipt at my email, undergroundstrengthcoach@gmail.com, and I will send you guys the Bodyweight Bodybuilding download. If you already have that, let me know what other download you'd like, and I'll take care of that for you. And I'd love to see you donate more than $10. I always say, when I was in 3rd grade and I had one paper out, I was making $26, I think, every week, and that was in the early 80s. So I'm sure you guys can handle more than $10. Long video, hope you watched it, and I hope you do your part to inspire others and change the world.